the imbalance between institutions.
For some that don't know, and probably quite a few that don't, you had mentioned this to me earlier in the day on Wednesday about the connection. You know Scott Drew, June of 2014, Isaiah Austin, who had the story of not being able to play in the NBA because of his condition, his health condition. That you apparently had a lot to do with that moment when he was drafted in so many ways by the NBA. Can you kind of give me some background on that?
Absolutely, and in fact, it ties to what we've been talking about in a way, because for the longest time, the NBA and the NCAA were estranged. They were basically equal stakeholders in USA basketball, the Olympic entity, national governing body. But for the first several years I worked at the NCAA, I was really not allowed to contact and work with individuals at the NBA. It just didn't happen. They were the enemy. Miles Brand changed that, and I had proposed to him that I thought I needed to reach out and I needed to get to know people, and become really good friends with Adam Silver, who then was the deputy commissioner and obviously now is the commissioner. Is just one of the most solid human beings I've ever met. He's incredible. And we are dear friends, kind of on and off the court, dealt with a lot of issues, worked on a number of initiatives. We take this seriously. We share the love for basketball. He's a big college basketball fan, and I'll confess to enjoying the NBA and in certain doses, and just love how they operate as an organization, as an entity. On a number of different levels, and I credit a lot of that to Adam. But Coach Drew had reached out to me when all of this news had happened with Isaiah, and I want to say it was within maybe in the 10 days just before the draft. I mean, it was obviously this was late breaking as he had gone through the physicals and so forth in terms of the diagnosis. And literally speaking, it was one text with Adam, and he called me within 25 minutes, and it was done. I mean, we didn't need to connect any of the dots. Adam's response was absolutely, we will do something. Let me work on it. And within a very short period of time, the NBA did as the world saw, and honestly, then I got to know Commissioner Stern. Commissioner Stern, who had a tough veneer, was equally sensitive. This was very much in the ilk of something he would have done as well. But Adam really designed all of that, and I know that Adam offered him a job if he'd finish his education. Which my understanding is he's done, and is now working with the NBA. And that's what it's all about. Coach Drew and I remain in really very regular contact. He wrote me in the last day about the article, and during the tournament and so forth, we share barbs back and forth. And being from Indiana and his Valpo roots and so forth, it's a nice story, and he's been very kind to me. He stayed in touch, and I have enjoyed his success that I think is richly deserved. And most important of all in that story is that Isaiah was recognized for really some extraordinary talent and about as good of a solution as could come up under what was very difficult circumstances.
It was awesome.
A special young man, and it was very moving. I'm just thinking about it and getting shivers, thinking about how powerful a moment it was, because and again, all credit goes to Coach Drew for reaching out to me, and to my friend Adam Silver, who really just took it and ran with it and made sure it was just handled in a very special way.
Not a surprise, Coach Drew. He is one of a kind. I know. And Greg, it's awesome. Story. I'm glad Seth wrote the story. I really am. He did a great job with it because there's been a couple of them. The Joe Moglia story where you and I, we spoke about that on Wednesday, in some of his ideas, and then also the story about you. And it's great to have you on our show. We appreciate the insight. We might every once in a while want to come